The anger did not start today. It built the way these things always build. Slowly, then all at once. One controversial decision that everyone argued about and nobody explained. Different matches, different stadiums, different teams. Same problem, same silence from the people running this tournament. And now the supporters who paid thousands to be here and billions more watching at home are asking the question FIFA has been hoping nobody would ask loudly enough. Are the referees out of control? And if they are, who is responsible? Across this World Cup, fans are asking the same question in every language it can be asked in. Are the referees losing control of this tournament? And for the first time, it is not just players and managers pushing back. The fans themselves have had enough. There is a specific sound a crowd makes when it stops trusting what it is watching. It is not the sound of disappointment after a missed chance. Those sounds are sharp, immediate, over quickly. The sound of distrust is different. It builds. It starts low and spreads across an entire stadium before it peaks. It is the sound of tens of thousands of people arriving at the same conclusion simultaneously. That sound has been getting louder at this World Cup with every passing match day. Boos replacing cheers when the referee reaches for a card. Whistles from the stands every time the VAR screen lights up. A stadium that arrived electric with anticipation turning cold and suspicious the moment a decision lands the wrong way. The atmosphere inside these venues has shifted, not because the football has been poor, because the trust has been eroded. Decision by decision, match by match. No single incident created this crisis. That is the point. That is what makes it a crisis rather than a complaint. The penalties that divided opinion in the opening week. The red cards that sent players off in circumstances broadcasters spent 20 minutes debating without reaching agreement. The goals reviewed for so long that players sat on the pitch and fans checked their phones because nobody inside the ground could tell what was being examined or why. Each incident arrived with its own debate, its own conflicting interpretations, its own post-match arguments. But the incidents did not stay individual. They accumulated. Each new controversy landed on top of the previous ones, adding weight to a growing sense that the problems were not random. They were part of a pattern. And patterns change the nature of the conversation entirely. You can dismiss one incident as unfortunate. You cannot dismiss a pattern as anything other than a system that is not working. The modern football supporter does not watch a controversial decision and move on. They investigate it. Within minutes of any disputed moment at this World Cup, the footage has been cropped, slowed, enhanced, and shared across every platform simultaneously. Frame-by-frame breakdowns produced by supporters with no officiating background, but with access to the same camera angles as the VR room. Screenshots with arrows and timestamps. Online communities pooling clips from multiple broadcasts to build cases for why a decision was wrong or inconsistent with a similar decision made 3 days earlier. The tools available to armchair referees in 2026 are more sophisticated than anything previous generations had access to. And those tools are sometimes producing analyses more thorough than anything the official broadcast commentary provides. When a supporter on social media can demonstrate a clear inconsistency between two VAR decisions using footage anyone can verify, and FIFA has no equivalent public explanation, the credibility gap does not close. It widens. The real issue is no longer any single decision. That conversation ended weeks ago. What supporters are now questioning is consistency. The specific, documented inconsistency between similar incidents producing different outcomes in different matches. A handball reviewed and punished in one game. An identical handball not reviewed in the next. A challenge deemed a red card before halftime that would have been a yellow in a different fixture. These are not hypothetical complaints. They are specific comparable situations fans have identified, documented, and shared widely enough to be impossible to dismiss. When a system produces inconsistent outcomes, confidence in that system erodes. Trust in any process depends on the belief that the same rules are applied the same way regardless of who is involved. The moment that belief breaks down, every subsequent decision is viewed through suspicion. And suspicion once established in a crowd of 60,000 people does not dissolve when the next fixture kicks off. It is worth saying what never gets said loudly enough. The referees at this tournament are not the problem. The system is. The officials selected for the 2026 World Cup are among the best in the world at what they do. They train specifically for the pressure of making split-second decisions in front of 80,000 people with billions watching at home. They prepare for that reality more rigorously than most people outside professional officiating ever understand. What they cannot prepare for is being placed at the center of a system that demands perfection, provides inconsistent technological support, and then leaves them without public defense when the criticism arrives. The human side of officiating, the physical and psychological demands of managing a World Cup match, is almost never part of the public conversation. The mistakes are visible. The pressure that produces them is not. VAR was introduced to eliminate clear and obvious errors. The goal that should not have stood. The red card that should never have been shown. The moments that ended campaigns through mistakes technology could prevent. What it created alongside those solutions was a problem nobody fully anticipated. Expectations of perfection. Once supporters understood a review system existed, tolerance for any error technology could theoretically catch collapsed entirely. Every mistake became not just a mistake, but a failure of the system. Every inconsistency became evidence of deeper dysfunction. The bar that VAR set by existing is higher than the bar it consistently clears. And in the gap between what fans now expect and what the technology actually delivers, the debate about officiating has found its permanent home at this tournament. The press conference language changed around the third match day. Managers who had been speaking carefully, using the diplomatic vocabulary that allows frustration to be expressed without triggering disciplinary proceedings, began saying things more directly. Decisions had been wrong. Consistency had been absent. Captains who had played in multiple World Cups stopped filtering their frustration through professional caution. Former stars with no contracts to protect and no fines to fear said publicly what everyone inside the game had been saying privately. The officiating standard at this tournament is not good enough for the stage it is on, and nobody at FIFA was providing a credible response. The demands from supporters, players, and media are straightforward. Release the VAR audio. Publish the decision-making framework. Explain publicly why identical situations produce different outcomes in different matches. FIFA has responded with statements so vague they answer nothing. The integrity of the competition is being protected. The officials are among the best in the world. The process is rigorous and independent. None of those statements address specific incidents. None explain the inconsistencies. None give fans, players, or managers any reason to trust the system more than they did before the controversy began. FIFA is defending the integrity of a competition while refusing to demonstrate it. And the gap between those two things is exactly where trust goes to die. Football depends on credibility. Every tournament depends on trust in the system that governs it. Without that trust, the competition is not a competition. It is a series of events connected by a schedule and a trophy that fewer and fewer people believe will be won fairly. The danger when supporters begin doubting outcomes is not just reputational. It is existential for the product. Fans who believe results are being shaped by officiating dysfunction do not stay fans of the tournament. They stay fans of their team while becoming critics of everything surrounding it. And critics do not buy tickets, do not renew broadcast subscriptions, and do not tell the next generation that the World Cup is worth caring about. The World Cup is supposed to be remembered for unforgettable goals and legendary performances. Instead, the referees have become one of the tournament's biggest stories. Not because they are the worst officials in World Cup history, because they are operating inside a system without transparency, without consistency, and without a governing body willing to stand behind its own process publicly enough to restore the confidence it has spent the last 2 weeks destroying. Fans are no longer quietly complaining. They are demanding answers. In stadiums, on social media, in every language the sport is followed in across the world. Unless confidence is restored, through transparency, through consistency, through FIFA finally treating supporters as people who deserve explanations rather than instructions to relax, the debate surrounding officiating will not be a footnote to the 2026 World Cup. It will be the story the tournament is remembered for.